you want, what you need when you lie. It's a lesson that's got me reeling now. What you want, who is seeing when you lie. It's the message that's got me reeling now. What you want, what you need when you lie. It's a lesson that's got me reeling now. What you need when you lie. It's a lesson that's got me reeling.
What's going on, guys? As always, I'm going to give it a quick second to see how the audio is pulling up. This one's going to be a quick one for a couple of reasons. First off, I'm testing out those over there. Just some clips I had that I threw together. See how people like it. I do not like the way it looks on the screen, though, so I'm going to make that look a little bit better and not shoddy. Press 1 if you guys can hear me. And also check me out at twitter.com/lore reloaded. Guys, yep, sounds good on my end. Unfortunately, I think I did it wrong, so you guys aren't going to be getting the update as soon, which is unfortunate because I was going to test stuff out and have just a wondrous conversation with everybody today. But I don't know that we're going to get to be able to do that because YouTube is acting just absolutely crazy. But with that out of the way, hey guys, also something else that is always fun to check out. There is a really cool sale going on to raise money for sick kids with cancer at the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital in Nashville, Tennessee. If you guys want to help out towards that and get some cool swag, you can hit right there. Check it out. As always, check me out twitch.tv/lore reloaded. Also, there is a countdown you might notice. In the top, I guess it's going to be right-hand corner for you guys. I'm going to be doing a charity drive from 5 p.m. Central Standard Time to, 5 a.m. Central Standard Time to 5 a.m. Central Standard Time starting tomorrow. So I hope you guys are going to hang out. Going to be tons of giveaways with that. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we are going to enjoy the heck out of it. I mean, we're talking Eagle Moss collectibles, Star Trek Online stuff, TeePublic shirts. A lot of fun. We got Frosty Thunderchild in the house. What is going on? Lore Actual, I haven't seen you in forever, my good friend. Hope you're doing well. We got Zealot Master, which is always fun. And never a true party until Nathan Norman is here. What is going on, Nathan Norman? Yeah, what's a cool thing, too, is I'm doing something with that shirt for Patreon as well. But for right now, the only way you can get it is to purchase it through this campaign, and then after that, it's going to go away for a while. So if you guys want that shirt, I would suggest checking that out. This is going to be a relatively short one. I figured we'd just have a short conversation while I'm testing stuff out and talk about everyone's favorite two people. That is to say, Captain Janeway versus Captain Archer. And what your guys' opinion are when it comes to them. What's going on? CWAL728. Hope you're doing well. Honestly, when it comes to hated, quote-unquote hated captains, generally it comes down between Janeway and Archer, from what I've found. People will choose those and have those two at the bottom of the list. Now, obviously, hashtag not all. Everybody has their own that they enjoy and stuff, but for varying reasons, I think that Janeway and Archer are generally the lowest tier, generally. Do you think it's cruel to have a beagle on a ship with no holodeck? No. Let me ask you this. Why do you think that it is cruel to have a beagle on a ship with no holodeck? I mean, as long as there's facilities for him, he can run around and stuff like that. I guess the only reason I don't necessarily think the Beagle should be there is the ship is a military ship that goes into battle. So I'm not sure why you'd have one on there. Archer and Janeway both need a court-martial. Nathan, I'd be curious, why do you think Archer needs a court-martial specifically? And I'll tell you what, instead of me looking away from the camera, because I have two screens that you may or may not be aware of. Let's switch those up. That way I'm now looking at this like we're having a conversation. Like it's me and you, nobody else. I'm here specifically for your enjoyment. Archer is pretty balanced. Archer is pretty balanced as a submarine vet. Enterprise was more relatable. Well, they did want to go out of their way to make it feel like it was a submarine type deal. Like it was very basic in that way. So I would agree that they made it feel more realistic, I suppose. Star Trek generally never was supposed to feel as realistic because it was supposed to be a utopia, right? I don't know. It's very common for warships in real life to have a mascot. Do they carry those mascots with them, Seawall? Do they have cats and dogs and goats on U.S. destroyers and submarines and such? Because if they do, my understanding of naval tradition is far, far off, good friend. I don't mind Archer or Janeway. It's just Archer was always set on a suicide run and Janeway was... Janeway? Okay. Archer was always set on a suicide run. I don't know. They yeah, I guess. The thing about Archer, and he got better over time, but the thing about Archer was that at first he thought he could take on the world and almost got a lot of people killed for his troubles, right? So I think that does somewhat play a role in it. Archer committed acts of piracy while in the Traverse. Was it called the Traverse? I know what you're talking about, though. Except for the elevator in engineering space, we never had a mascot. Except for the elevator in the engineering space, we never had a mascot. The elevator was a mascot? Archer committed acts of piracy while in the Traverse. That's one of those things, if I wonder if they would have in the real world, as real world as you can get, if they would have court-martialed him for, because effectively he's trying to save his race, right? And as you guys have found out, to a large degree, specifically I am big on saving one's race. I can understand people doing a lot. Voyager never figured out what they wanted to be. Remember in the first season why they talked about power supply and never again? Yeah, and how the holodeck ran on a different power supply, which was just stupid. I think that can be excused as he was desperate and in a hard place when he committed piracy. That I agree. He had a lot of problems with it, too. Katwalski, I don't know if he's come out with it yet or not, but he kind of discusses things like that and the turmoil that a lot of the Enterprise characters and, Star Trek characters, not just Enterprise, go through. So hopefully that'll be coming out very shortly. We just reached the end of Season 6 yesterday for Voyager. Is Janeway evil per se? I don't think so, but is Janeway arguably a psychopath, or is it less clear-cut? Tuvix comes to mind. Janeway is I look at Janeway as a tragic hero. I don't know if she has PTSD. I don't know specifically what that looks like. But I do think that she's played as a tragic hero who has mental deficiencies, who completely and utterly rewrites history, erasing people and erasing entire plot lines that would never be, just to save a dozen people at best, So there's something wrong there, I agree. The mighty tripcord? The mighty tripcord? The mighty tripcord. First time watching and posting. What's going on, buddy? Admiral Halsey often brought his dog with him in World War II. Okay, an admiral. Is there a captain that's done that? And is that just one admiral, or was it a common thing? Edward says that's called the Expanse. Yeah, and like Janeway, Archer was in a desperate situation. And remember, you need to have a mentality closer to the 21st century compared to the 24th. That is true. Janeway committed so many atrocious acts during the Delta run to Earth that she should have drummed out of their service and imprisoned. That's the thing. Someone once described her as a snowplow going through the Delta Quadrant. I forget who it was, but it's I would definitely agree. When it comes to her in the Delta Quadrant, she worked definitively like a snowplow, where whatever got in her way, sometimes she was going to help it, sometimes she wasn't. And so it was just an amoral snowplow for all intents and purposes of her impacts on the Delta Quadrant itself. But when it comes between the two, again, you have to consider the era that they were in, but also the situation. I would say that Janeway was in a tougher situation. I think she is more relatable as a tragic hero and more understandable as someone who's watching people getting killed and there's literally nothing she can do about it. Archer at first is very boastful. He goes through a similar experience in The Expanse. Enterprise does the lost in the middle of nowhere with no support so much better than Voyager ever did, unfortunately. In The Expanse, it is so well written, in my opinion. It was common in the Royal Navy. They were allowed to keep their mascots aboard from cats to dogs. Some even had exotic birds. Well, I don't know that I agree with that, Nathan Norman, that practice. I don't know. What's going on, Sinbad? Andrew Ponte, rather than a snowplow, I'd call her one of those cattle rams they had on the front of the 19th century trains. Yeah, but I don't think that's has a cattle ram ever done anything positive? A snowplow at least can do positive. Am I imagining, or do you look like drunk Riker today? I think you're imagining, since I've looked like this for a while, good buddy. I think you're imagining quite a bit. But the more I think about it, the more I try to compare Janeway to Archer, and including the mentalities, people think I hate Janeway. That I think she was the worst on, at the worst ever. I think she made some horrific decisions, and hurt a lot of people. But I don't know if she wasn't as sympathetic as Ransom, if not more so than Ransom, since she didn't commit mass murder. Well, her mass murder was more removal of people from time, but still. Again, just a tragic hero, someone who broke, and it's even written in a couple of episodes as a person who broke, and I think that is wonderful. I wish they'd actually went with that, just not have these one-off episodes. When it came to Captain Archer, he was boastful. He almost got a lot of people killed. Well, he did get a lot of people killed. Not a lot. He got quite a few people killed. But he was also running again on a 21st century or 22nd century mentality. There was no Starfleet, no Federation. They were the underdogs. So, I don't know. If I had to choose between the two, if it came to pure actions, it would be Janeway, for sure. If you took everything into context, given the characters and such, I'd almost say Archer was worse. Taking everything into context, not looking at actions. Sinbad Navarre, nothing much, lore, just chilling. And honestly, I really love the Something or Something. I really love the Voyager cast because they grew as a family, both on set and off set. Most of them did. Some of them hated each other, and to this day aren't fans. Janeway was a Prime Directive zealot. Depending on the episode you watched, she was a Prime Directive zealot. Sometimes she just suspended it for the hell of it. But when it suited her needs, she was definitively a Prime Directive zealot. Remember that time she refused to warn those people with the planet-destroying power plant? I do remember that. In fact, I do. That was a horrific action that she chose to do. Yep, I remember that. And what I love in that episode is they used, not Harry, but Tom Paris to be the foil to her opinion. And he completely destroys her argument, and she pulls rank. It's wonderful. It shows how the Prime Directive is a horrific thing if you don't use it pragmatically. By the way, guys, 43 people watching, only 7 thumbs up. What's up with that? Hit that thumb up button. Don't be scared of it. It's more scared of you than you are of it. Don't worry. For large ships, a ship-wide mascot was never officially allowed, but commonly had a blind eye turned to it. Gotcha. Even without Janeway's reprehensible actions, what about Janeway as a competency thing? Without morals included, could you say that she's a good captain? Was Janeway competent. I think Janeway could have been competent. I don't think she was ready based on what we see. I don't think she was ready for what occurred to her. I don't think she had the experience that Sisko or Picard or Kirk had. I don't. So I think she could have been a competent captain. I don't think she was ready for it. Nathan Norman, I blame Janeway's training for most of her decisions. She stuck to the doctrine of Starfleet to a point that she could no longer think outside of that box. I agree, and it got people killed, and it ultimately turned her into something that she wasn't. German Trekkie, Voyager was the best. Well, rock it out, German Trekkie. The Prime Directive, something used to justify not helping people, or something we're going to ignore just this one time. Torlonis, it wasn't always that way, though. That's the thing. TNG made it that way, but it wasn't that way when you looked at the original series and when they used it. There was a lot of discussions on what the Prime Directive was meant to do, what it was there for, when to use it, when to not. It was a pragmatic ideal in the original series. And then the Next Generation made it dogmatic. They made it a religion in the Next Generation. Honest to God, it was unfortunate. Can we not give Archer a bit of a break compared to the other captains, given that not only he, but Starfleet was young, not much precedent or tradition to draw on? What's that have to do with anything, Bob the Builder? That I said, bringing it in with context is what, that's bringing it in with the fact that Starfleet is young. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, that's how much of a screw-up he was. Sinbad, I grew up with Voyager. It got out in 1995, and I was born in 1995. Okay, fair enough. I was born in 84. I started with TNG and went beyond, so I didn't see much of the original series. I was the same way. I actually didn't really get deep into the original series. I saw all the movies, but not the actual series until I started doing this full time, and then I've watched it a couple of times now. It's pretty campy. I'll agree. It honestly, when you look at it, it reminds me of the 1960 version of the Orville, where they're not planning on this big, massive series to expand and do all of these things. Honestly, I think the Orville, if it continued to be this popular, they could actually make it into something that was, something more. It could be more than the sum of its parts. I started with the movies, then Voyager and DS9. Yeah, I went TNG, DS9, Voyager, and then back to Enterprise. Hey, sorry, I'm late. I was going Warp 3. Well, you should go faster than that, 100% American Buffalo. Absolutely faster than that. So, just disappointed, sir. I am a disappointment. What always gets me about Voyager was Tuvok. How long does it take to become a captain, or did he do something we don't talk about? Didn't he leave? He left Starfleet and came back. And maybe he didn't want to be captain. Because he was on the security track, which doesn't necessarily mean that you'll become a captain if you don't want to. Archer's the father of the Federation. I don't have hate for any of the captains. I think Enterprise stock will raise over time. By the time that show was really getting going, it got canceled. It got canceled because the first 3 seasons were the suck. I think it was the first 3 seasons. It sucked. It sucked pretty bad up until The Expanse. After The Expanse, it sucked pretty bad, got a lot better, got really good, then got canceled. In fact, when it got canceled, the episodes were getting more ratings. Ratings were going up, but it was too late. The damage had been done. Starfleet in Archer's time seemed to take building ships the long way. Columbia should have been out of dry dock by mid-season 2 at the latest. Yeah, I agree. They took their time. Completely and utterly. If it's like the military, being a captain takes around 20-ish years. Yeah, but he was there for, it was over 20 years, because he was around during the time of the Excelsior. Yeah, people, I can't agree that, Enterprise was like the greatest ever, because we have Nazis. And, really, really bad Nazis. Like, it's not even a good written story, honestly. Honestly. Would be nice if they continued Enterprise. I think it's much better than Discovery. It'd be interesting. Continued, the Earth Starfleet should not have started doing upgrades to the design of the NX class while the Columbia was being built. They should have just waited for 5 ships. I think that the United Earth was so angry at being held back by the Vulcans, they just wanted to get a ship out. And then they wanted, once they got a ship out, they wanted to somewhat prove their mettle and their might. And that's why they updated the Columbia. To continue from my earlier point, when Janeway first saw the Borg, she researched what other captains had done. Archer never had any research like that. I meant this is only one example. She researched what other captains had done and then went on to make some of the most horrific decisions you could ever make when it comes to the Borg. But we don't even have to look at that. Archer doesn't understand how evolution works. Archer got Archer, all of these people, the thing about Enterprise, all of these people have masters and degrees. They're so much smarter than we'll ever be. Archer, Trip, all of them. And he doesn't understand how evolution works. So, yeah. And he doomed an entire race because he doesn't understand how evolution works. Oh, and let's not forget where he victim blamed and victim shamed the rape victim. There's always that one too, right? The show Voyager took it too safe. The ship and crew were never pushed to the limit too much. Voyager should have been more like BSG 2004. It should have been darker, but definitely not BSG itself. Actually, they're continuing Enterprise, but those are books. Haven't ever read any of the books. Let me know if they're good, Edward. Evolution is just a theory. I really would have loved to see the NX-01 with the classic engineering hull we saw. That could have been interesting. The crew of the NX were staffed by the best, brightest, and children of important people. I don't know about children of important people, but they were the best and the brightest. They went out of their way to talk about how these people were like the top humanity had at the time. Just beyond compare. Captain Archer blamed a victim for his assault. It was his, not her. Yes. He made fun of Trip when Troll Dad gave him becoming lore master. He made fun of Trip when Trip became pregnant after a woman did their version of sex with him and him not realizing. He had a sexual assault done upon him without his consent, and Archer turned it into a joke. And I forget what episode that is, but you guys who are about to jump to his defense, please let us know what episode so they can go watch. For instance, Bird of Prey 5 believes that if someone has sex with you against your consent, as long as it's Trip, it's not that. I gotta go, Laura. Going to hop off for now. I'll see you later. See you, Simbad. The Mirror Darkly showed the power of a Constitution-class starship in relation to the power of the NX. It was a beautiful thing. Yeah, Mirror Darkly was done very, very well. No, I said he victim-shamed. Maybe I said blamed. I was wrong. Victim-shamed. I can look it up real quick. Give me a quick second. Good friends, Enterprise episode where Trip is pregnant. Unexpected? That is unexpected. That would be the 4th season. No, I'm sorry. 1st season, 5th episode. 5th episode, Bird of Prey. Get it right, son. Get it right. Memory Alpha says it's 4th. I don't care what any of y'all say. Voyager crew was pushed to its limits during the Year of Hell. It wasn't. It was called Unexpected, German Trekkie. Yeah, the Year of Hell, the reset on it was unfortunate. And I'll tell you, what I do, what would have been interesting is to have that as a complete season. That was one of the times that Berman really, I think, screwed him over. Now, I don't like Berman. I don't generally like Berman's decisions. Let me say that. I actually don't like Berman's decisions. I think he made a lot of wrong decisions. I think he took it in a bad way. I don't hate Berman as a person or even as a Star Trek fan. I don't like here's the thing. I don't think the Discovery writers either don't know Trek, they have no idea what that lore is or what it's about, or they don't care and they disrespect it openly. Berman, I think, is different. I, honest to God, think Berman cared about, up until possibly Nemesis, I honestly think Berman cared about Trek and tried to keep it as close to what George Lucas wanted when you do the research on Berman himself. I actually believe, again, up until, not Nemesis, Insurrection, you're right. I honestly believe up until Insurrection, I think he deeply cared about it. And I think Roddenberry was a good friend of his, was someone he looked up to. And I think he wanted to keep it as close to what Roddenberry had. That said, I think he did a horrific job. I don't think that anything good came out of it, honestly. By the way, 56 people watching and only 16 thumbs up. Y'all, what's up with that? Thumbs up, sons. Thumbs up. But Berman gets a lot of hate. George Lucas. Did I say George Lucas? Because I meant Roddenberry if I said George Lucas. I wish there was an Enterprise movie. I wish there was a Deep Space Nine movie, but that has long passed. Instead of doing an Insurrection or even a Nemesis, they should have won a Deep Space Nine movie. I mean, there are so many interesting stories you could tell with that. The main thing I did not like about Voyager, and for that matter too, the fact everything was reset to the status quo by the next episode or the end of the episode. Enterprise and DS9 had consequences. Yeah, Enterprise and Deep Space Nine did have it was storytelling. It was storytelling to a degree. It was the way the storytelling was done. Bearing Cab, are you the Bearing Cab that interacts with Bearing? Like the big YouTuber Bearing? Sorry, I'm sidetracked. DS9 and Enterprise were able to do overarching arcs. Whereas Voyager had to do episode to episode Monster of the Week. Now, that doesn't excuse the continuity gaps they had and such, but Voyager was kind of hit at the legs because they couldn't have a running plot line that went all that long. And some of that was Berman's fault. Berman didn't want the Year of Hell, which would have been a wonderful way to go. But they tried to stick to this formula that just never worked. And it's unfortunate. Bearing Cab, yep, same troll. Oh, okay. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I've watched Bearing before, and I've seen you guys interact. So it's kind of cool that you watch my stuff. Consistent writing is a long-standing issue with Trek. Nimoy had to fight tooth and nail to keep Spock consistent and still failed due to production overrides. I haven't read that. I wouldn't be surprised by that. There are some inconsistencies that he can do. So I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. And TOS was bad about it, but that's what they did in the 1960s. They couldn't even have an appropriate finale because it just wasn't done. Right? Unfortunately. Disco or Discovery is the first time we follow a person of color in Trek. No, Deep Space Nine. Oh, you're talking about how Discovery is wrong. Question. Remember the time the NX-01 encountered that human colony where everyone had reverted to hunter-gatherers? What do you think of Archer's choice to just leave them like that? I don't remember that one, 255 AD. Can you give me a name of it by chance? See if I can do my see if it can jog my memory, because I don't remember that one at all. For all the reasons DS9 and Enterprise were good, it's why BBC America only airs TNG and Voyager episodes on reruns. They are easy to watch, out of order, nothing really lost. Yeah, that was kind of one of the reasons that they did it, was that so someone could just plug and play. Honestly, as much, say what you will about Discovery, I like arcs. I like more in-depth writing. It does make it less approachable, but honestly, I think the stories are better for it, right? Terra Nova. I gotta rewatch that in a second. Also, Voyager problems not the show's fault. Movie First Contact voided any Borg on Voyager until the movie came out, and all I do, like a lot of the factions of the Delta Quadrant. Also, Voyager problems, not the show's fault. The movie First Contact voided any Borg on Voyager until the movie came out. I'm trying to understand that sentence. Can you rephrase that, Jamie? I apologize. Did you enjoy the comical Dr. Chaotica, Captain Proton episodes of Voyager? No, I never got into that. I never really got into any of the holodeck period pieces they tried to do. If I wanted to watch a period piece, I'd watch a fracking period piece. I don't care about Daryl Dixon or Dick Dixon or whatever the hell his name is. I don't care about what the 24th century thinks about Chaotica. I don't care about... hell, I don't even... I mean, the baseball game was fine. They did a kind of a change on it when they DS9. So DS9 didn't suck, but the TNG period pieces I didn't care about. I didn't care about the Voyager period pieces. All of that is... if I wanted to watch a period piece, I'd watch a period piece. I thought Fairhaven was a funny episode. Fairhaven from Enterprise? I don't know which one that is. I'll have to look it up. A radioactive storm threatens Voyager while the crew enjoys leisure time in the setting of Fairhaven, an Irish coastal village of the early 20th century. I vaguely remember this. I have no interest. No. If I wanted to watch a period piece, I'd watch a period piece. I don't care. I want to watch 24th century. I'd rather watch her screw up the Borg and how the Borg suck than fucking... I'd watch Pride and Prejudice if I wanted to watch a period piece. I don't need a period. Take out the period pieces. They don't need it. They're just unnecessary. You can't write them well, number one. Number two, it's supposed to be a science fiction. I want to watch... Where's my science fiction? Ugh. Yep. Harry's date is turned into a cow. Okay. I think Seven may have been a covert spy for the Borg. She was. That's been proven in multiple episodes. Absolutely proven. It's fact. Definable fact. All right, guys. We'll probably be ending it shortly. Again, I was just trying some new stuff. I'm going to play one of these just to see how they go. But I don't know which one to play. German Trekkie, that's what's funny about it. What's funny about it, though? I don't get it. Hi, what's the current discussion? We're currently discussing how period pieces don't work in Trek. By the way, guys, if you guys haven't seen it, or if you don't know, tomorrow at 5 a.m. Central Standard Time, I will be doing a 24-hour charity. We're going to try to raise $5,000. I know we can do it. I'm selling there's some really cool shirts that are on sale where the partial proceeds go to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. Tons of giveaways, Star Trek Online, Eagle Moss giveaways, shirts. It's going to be off the chain. What's your take on the episode when Archer takes his dog to a planet and the dog gets ill and he offends the race who inhabits the planet? I think that is one of the truths about how... he was not a good diplomat, like in the slightest, like at all. He was a horrific diplomat. You bring your dog insults them. You're on this diplomatic mission. Your dog gets sick because you bring it to an alien place and then you get mad at them. And then you get upset when they expect an apology because your animal that shouldn't even be on your ship anyway, by the way, it gets sick. It's your fault the animal got sick. It shouldn't be on there. You shouldn't have taken him down. And the animal did dishonor them. You do owe them an apology. He's supposed to be like the top of the top diplomat. Marinor says, I guess that I'm just more interested in comedy in general. I don't generally like period pieces in Star Trek either. All right, see you later. Got to go back to my assignment. See you later, Buffalo. What about crossovers in future books or Holo Adventures in one of the shows? I've never been a huge crossover fan, honestly. I mean, it's okay, but I've never really... I don't know. Question, is erasing an entire timeline and all the people to live in it tantamount to genocide? I believe it is. A lot of people don't. Talk to you later, German Trekkie. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing that makes me upset about that gets me frustrated, is he talks about going down in a shuttle and him peeing all over stuff. Like, the top diplomat. This guy is supposed to be the person who comes before all of these aliens and represents Starfleet. Seriously? I think later season Archer did really well. It's interesting. Later season Archer came into a zone where later season Janeway later season Janeway loses it all. And I think that's an interesting dichotomy. By the way, about 60 people watching, only 27 thumbs up. Hit that like button. Or that thumbs down. I don't care. Just hit it, good boys. Holodeck addiction, I think, is interesting and should have been looked into more or discussed. What's going on, cute blue alien? What are you doing? What's going on with you? As far as actors are concerned, who's better, Scott Bakula or Kate Mulgrew? I think they're both really good actors. I'm a really huge fan of Kate Mulgrew myself. Janeway genocide is okay because I have the moral high ground. Well, then there you go. No human had ever been in that position before. Which one? Bird of Prey 5. Which position? What about the DS9 episode where they genocide themselves? The Defiant Crash where they meet their great-grandkids. They genocide them, but it's themselves. Is that sort of suicide? Well, the kids didn't have an option in it. So, well, no, they didn't genocide themselves. Odo. Future Odo genocides all of them. And, yeah, Odo killed those kids. Yup. As a captain of flagship, you were expected to be a diplomat. Archer was a hammer. All he saw was nails. Yeah, for the first season, I'd agree. Nothing, the cute blue alien is talking about asking what's going on. She said nothing but wrapped up my mock GCSE exams with a 5-hour photography exam. Fantastic. Dustogenic. Can I have a name? You have a name, Dustogenic. It's Dustogenic. But yeah, Odo did, in my opinion, kill all those kids. He wiped them from the planet, all for one person. So you know, he also got rid of the future. Well, yeah, and the people there too. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So future Odo is as bad as future Janeway in that respect, definitively. All for one person. Janeway at least had like a dozen people. Enterprise wasn't even Bakula's best sci-fi show. Nope. Archer was a noob, but that was the point. Learning and idealistic. And, you know, completely destroying completely destroying some civilization. As the seasons went on, all they got better. It became more of what we think of Starfleet officers today. Yeah, and that was supposed to be the point. The ship was supposed to look more and more like a Constitution as well. But alas, it never got there. Was the NX Enterprise the flagship? The NX Enterprise was really the only ship that could go anywhere. So, in theory, yes. Can the main timeline Janeway be blamed for stuff her alt timeline future or self did? Yes. At least according to the temporal police, the temporal agents will arrest a current you and a past you for what a future you does. Kate Mulgrew is cooler today. Yeah, I love her personality. I'd love to meet her. She's upgoing, upbeat, really nice, at least in public. I think she'd be fun to talk to. Archer was the most annoying captain in the history of Star Trek. Janeway, she was a crazy bee, and that made her funny to watch. Sure. Janeway broke whatever rules she wanted while chastising other officers, like when Paris saved the water planet. Yeah, she was willing to get a lot of people killed for a prime directive she didn't listen to all the time. Zealot Master. Wait, Odo may have saved more lives than he killed if you think about how the war was going for Starfleet. Was that during the war? I don't know if that was during the Dominion War or not. I mean, look, you can justify the actions of anybody. You can try to make it as altruistic as you want. But here's what it comes down to. Why did Odo do it? Did Odo do it because the Dominion War was going to be screwed over and it wasn't going to save people? Or did Odo do it because of Kira Nerys? The NX was the only ship sent on long-range exploration. The rest were being used for short-range and guard duty only. Yes, Nathan. Which is, was it the flagship? I mean, maybe. It would make sense. Why didn't Daniels or Practon stop Janeway in Endgame? Because Janeway probably had them killed before they could do it. Because the story needed them not to, says the cute blue. That is true. That is absolutely, positively true. All right, so as you guys see, I have this. I do not, or I'm sorry, that way. I don't like the way that looks. I'm actually probably just going to pay someone to make it look a lot better than that. I'm going to play one. Let me know if you guys hear it. This is going to be a short one. Some of these are 3 minutes long. I don't know that I want to keep them up there. I'm just testing this out. Tell me if you guys can hear this. Should have been able to hear that. After Earth was attacked, Archer seemed angry all the time. Yeah, he was. I agree. Kate Mulgrew is awesome, but Janeway was bipolar. Of that, I agree. Question. The temporal police law seems super unethical to me. What if your future self only turns bad because of experiences you haven't had yet? Yeah, I agree. But I mean, that's a conversation all in of itself. I should do an on trial for that. It sounds good? Okay, good. But yeah, I should do a I was edited by Anti-Tracker, by the way. I should do a on trial of the temporal police. So, I don't know. I got my swatch in a twist. I don't know what is swatch. See, now I'm gonna have to look that up. Is that something bad? See, I'm gonna do German. List of paintings. Oh, okay. So it was a painter, I guess? I don't know. All right, any other questions before we end it? He was angry a lot of the time before Earth was attacked, at least after he had a reason to be. Yeah, he hated the Vulcans. I loved SF Debris' Vulcan hate on that. How did they keep Voyager in pristine condition? Taurus must be related to Mary Poppins. Yeah, as I said, Enterprise did it so much better when they were in the Expanse. It's crazy. Laura, you don't know Spaceballs. I do know. I've watched Spaceballs, but it's been a while since I watched Spaceballs. And when I search that name doesn't pull up anything. So apparently, it's not that important in Spaceballs. So, yeah. Have any evil Janeway diatribes been spewed yet? No, Eyes of Frozen Meat, not to my knowledge. Would you like to start some? Maybe you could do a stream on Odo's mass murder of the Descendants. Yeah, or put that on trial. How would you rewrite Enterprise? I don't know. I'd remove the Nazis. Temporal Cold War, I would do what SF Debris suggested, tie that into Voyager since you had both running at similar times. I don't know. That's more an episode by episode because the overall arc didn't suck for Enterprise. So it's more an episode by episode thing. The Vulcan Andorian story arc was one of the best things about Enterprise. I agree. The Swatch is the Force. The Swatch is... How do you say it? Phonetically type it out. I can't read normal words. What the hell makes you think I'd be able to read that? Enterprise 2 is my favorite episode of third season. Enterprise 2. Okay. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to end that today. Check out the Schwartz. That's what you're trying to type out. The Schwartz. Ah, there it is. Spaceball Schwartz. That's not, you can, it's not, it's SCHWARTZ. Email me the info on the charity. Well, while I'm still on here, Tiberian, what would you like to know about the charity real quick? Jeffrey Combs is a wonderful actor. I agree. An absolute wonderful actor. Yeah, Shran would have been awesome, or a Shran-like character. That would have been cool. The Schwartz, yes, the Schwartz. I know what the Schwartz is. I forget who said, but I love Enterprise more if the Vulcans hadn't moved into Earth. Okay. Andorians and Romulans for the win. Tiberian, or anybody. Does anyone have any questions on the charity coming up tomorrow? Just so we got it. It's 24 hours. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be playing games. Oh, there's going to be, if you want to debate me, if you have an issue with anything, like if you think Trip wasn't taken advantage of, for instance, then I will be doing either a dollar a minute or $1 every 3 minutes, and you directly donate to the charity, not me. And we can debate anything you want to debate. I think Don Juan wants to get on and talk about how much he loves the GOP, so that should be interesting. What's up, all? What did I miss? We're ending it, Vile Mike. Ending it, good buddy. But yeah, any questions? Going once. Going twice. There's actually like a 15-second delay, so I gotta wait for that 15-second delay. I'm going to sleep crazy early tonight, man. Oh my God. Don't even know. Don't even know. I hated what they did with Trip. They made him a Southerner and they made him an idiot, even though he's supposed to be a genius. And he has a Southern accent. I hate the concept of Trip. Oh man, it just pisses me off. But it's okay. It's okay to make fun of Southern people. I mean, who cares about them, right? Can we debate if Picard got more action than Kirk? I doubt that he did. Just based on the character concepts themselves. Silly question. Does Starfleet ever warp crash ships into enemies? 5 a.m. Central. Yes, Bird of Prey 5. And the way the warp bubbles work, I highly doubt that they can use warp to ram things at all. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Remember, at the end of the day, we're all stories. Make yours a good one.